Not a bad view here for our little review video. How you going, guys? This is going to be just a bit of a comparison video between the GoPro Hero 10, which is on your left, and the new Hero 12 on your right. Now, there are a whole bunch of videos detailing the specs and everything, what these cameras can do and can't do. This video is not about that. And to be honest, not a lot has changed. I know for sure that the 11 to the 12 is not a huge jump. GoPro don't seem to be in the business of innovating. They sort of just playing catch up with all the other brands, to be honest. But I'll have some comparison footage off the bike. I've rigged up this awesome little dual GoPro mount for the front of my helmet. I know a lot of guys, when they make up these mounts, they break out the 3D printer and make something real flash. I don't have a 3D printer, so I break out the grinder and the drill and a bit of angle aluminium. I painted it up just to make it look nice, but anyway, it does the job. So yeah, I'll have a bit of comparison footage between the 10 and the 12, and I'll also sort of go over a few things, a few differences that I've noticed between the two. Now, if you notice the blacked out front screen on the GoPro 12, I always do that with my helmet cams just to stop a rock breaking that that screen there. Obviously you can replace the lens if that gets broken, but if that screen busts, you're up shit creek. So yeah, I just double-sided tape a bit of black plastic to it just to stop stones breaking it. Now, hopefully this audio is okay. I'm just using the audio from the cameras today, and I want to give a huge shout out to Jeff Corradetti, aka Soupy Socks Enduro. Without him, I wouldn't have the GoPro Hero 12. I actually won a little competition giveaway thing on his YouTube channel, which was really cool because, you know, my GoPro Tenere, it still works fine, but it's getting a little bit beaten up. Now, if you like winning free stuff and you don't mind watching dudes drown their bikes and getting their socks all soupy, I encourage you to check out Jeff's channel. I'll put a link up in the corner here somewhere, and in the description, of course. Alright, so what have I noticed between these two cameras so far? The first thing's a bit of a negative, not a deal breaker, but still a negative. I'm not sure if they can change it in a future firmware upgrade, but there are no resolution options in the 2.7K, so you've basically got 200 or 240 frames per second, depending on whether you're PAL or NTSC, in the 2.7K. So I don't know why. I would probably choose to record in 2.7K 50 frames per second if I had the option there, but I don't. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with 1080p anyway. That's what I usually use. Right now I'm filming this on both cameras in the 5.3K, just to give you, you know, the full quality from both cameras. We're on the wide field of view at the moment. So yeah, that's the first thing, the lack of 2.7K frame rate options. They've also removed AVC video encoding. Now, if you don't know what that means, it probably doesn't matter. On the Hero 10, you could choose HEVC, high efficiency video encoding, or the old AVC for some certain settings. That's no longer an option. I think they removed that actually in the 11. The only effect that really has on me is the HEVC files. They're a little bit harder to edit. They don't play as smoothly in my editor, but you can get better quality into a smaller file size with the new HEVC. So, you know, it's a bit of a trade-off. Another thing they've changed, which doesn't affect me, is the GPS. There's no GPS data recorded with your files anymore. So yeah, there's no GPS in the camera. I think they've done that to sort of help battery life, and not a lot of people were using it anyway, so it doesn't affect me. I never used it. One thing I've noticed that's a huge positive for me is they've changed the size of the GoPro chaptering. So basically on the GoPro 10s, I'm not sure about the 11, but on the 10s and earlier, your video files will be chopped up into 4GB chunks. So in your editing program, you have to join all these files together. If you recorded for, you know, a certain amount of time, you would have all these different files, and joining them together was okay, but sometimes the audio didn't go together nicely. There'd be a pop or a click or a gap in the audio or something, so I didn't really like that. Now on the 12, I'm not sure about the 11, but on the 12 we have 12GB chapters, so you know, obviously you can record a lot more before it cuts the file into slices. Another positive change is you can, as you guys know if you watch this channel, I don't run a battery inside the GoPro. I run it off a power bank attached to the back of my helmet, so I have a cord going from a power bank directly to the camera, and I run the media mod as well. Now with the GoPro 10, I could not do that with any firmware version after the 1.20. It gave an error saying it was shut down. You know, you need to put a battery in the camera basically, or else it's shutting down. Yeah, so really quite annoying. I had to roll back my camera to version 1.20 to get it to work how I use it. But with the 12, I've updated to the latest firmware, as I said, and it works fine with the media mod running off an external battery. So awesome. Another change I've noticed with the GoPro 12 over the 10 also relates to the media mod. You can actually select the front and rear media mod as an option in your sound settings. Now on the 10 you could only set it to either the rear or the front or the inbuilt camera mics. With the 12 you can use both, so that's quite handy. I think if you're vlogging in certain situations, you're behind the camera, someone's in front of it, you can use both microphones to pick up the audio. Now there's a new menu layout to set your resolutions and frame rates and all that stuff. I'm not sure if I prefer the new one. It's probably a bit easier for new people who don't really know a lot about cameras, but I kind of found the old menu system a bit better, but you know, it works. So another cool thing they've added is the 1/4 tripod threaded hole underneath the little feet on the bottom of the camera. Again, it's something that I'm not going to use regularly, but it's good to have it there. Now I'll quickly touch on reliability and startup times, because I know reliability is a big thing with these cameras that people want to know about, especially me, because I've had so much trouble with GoPros not being reliable. Now for startup times, I've noticed that the 10's actually a half a second or a second quicker than the 12 to start up and start recording. Not a big deal, but yeah, I would have thought that they'd be getting quicker with that sort of thing. As for reliability, I had a fair bit of trouble with the 10 in the start. That was running it off the internal battery, and you know, before I started doing this, not running a battery in the camera and using an external you know, power bank. Since I've been running the power bank, it still glitches now and then, like it'll jam up and not be able to, you know, I can't turn it off. I've got to hold down that button to reset it or disconnect the power from it. But to be fair, that happens very rarely. One other bug that I've noticed is occasionally it won't use the external microphone to record audio. And again, this is a very rare occurrence, but the whole clip will pretty much be ruined because it'll choose to use the inbuilt mics to record the audio for that clip. And obviously when you're riding along on a bike, the wind noise just makes that, you know, that audio unusable. So yeah, not ideal, but those two little niggling problems, they are very rare, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now having said that, with the 12 I haven't had a single issue that I can think of yet. I have actually used it already on a full day ride and a camp out and a bit of a ride the next day. Now when I first got the camera, obviously you have to update the firmware straight out of the box. I did that. It hooked up to my phone first try. I don't think I've ever had that happen with the GoPro before, which is pretty good. Updated the firmware without any dramas, which is awesome. I haven't had the camera not turn on yet. I haven't had it not turn off yet. Sometimes, believe it or not, GoPros sometimes struggle to turn on, then struggle to turn off. And like, you know what I mean? Like you'll hit the stop record button, it'll go to shut down, and that little spinny circle will just keep going and going and going until you pull the battery out or something like that. Now I haven't had any of that stuff with the 12 yet. I haven't had it jam up once. I haven't had it fail to come on, as I said. I haven't had it fail to record audio through the media mod, but as I said before, that is a fairly rare thing. I'm hoping that, you know, the 12 is going to be more reliable than the 10. But really I can't complain, even if it is the same as the 10. Also, here's a quick unboxing, guys. GoPro, you know, fair enough, they have reduced the price a bit this year with the GoPro 12, although not by a lot. It's still 650 bucks here in Australia. Now you don't get that cool case that you've gotten with the previous GoPros. You don't really get many mounts anymore. You get one curved adhesive mount, one buckle, one thumb screw, and a battery. You know, you get the new Enduro battery, which is good, but really it's a pretty sparse bloody package, unless you get the creator version, which has a few more extras and whatnot, but it costs more. Real quick, one other thing I've noticed with the GoPro 12 that they haven't really fixed, and it's a big reason that I don't use the GoPro as a vlogging camera. They haven't managed to fix up the audio from the back of the camera. So the inbuilt mics work quite well talking to the front of the camera like this, but if I spin it around like this, usually you can't hear dick. Like the volume is really low from the back of the camera, and you'll notice it's pretty much the same from both of them. So I'll do a test. This is the 12, this is the audio from the 12, spin it around to the back. It's the audio from the 12 from the back, 1 2 3 4 5, speaking at the same volume. And then this will be from the 10. which is pretty much exactly the same, I think. Turning it around, speaking from the rear of the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now just looking also at the battery remaining on these cameras. They've both done about the same amount of work, filming in 5.3K 50. The GoPro 10 is down to 37% now, and the 12 is on 53%. So yeah, pretty good. A little bit of a boost in the battery life. As GoPro mentioned, they did manage to increase the battery life from this GoPro 12 without changing the battery. It's the same battery. That's pretty much all I can tell you about the new GoPro Hero 12 Black at the moment, guys. I'm going to be doing, as I said, a little bit of comparison footage from the helmet cam on SuperView. Now I do run specific settings, but I've got them both exactly the same for both cameras. The main thing is, as I said, 5.3K 50 frames per second to be rendered at 4K 30 for YouTube. The other settings that I'm using, the main one being the white balance. I never run auto white balance. The white balance is set to 5500K on both of these cameras. The ISO is 100 to 800. I have the sharpness on medium, and I record in the flat profile and just add a little bit of saturation and contrast in post. But I'll be doing, as I said, exactly the same with both cameras to give it a fair comparison. And I don't think you're going to really see much difference between the two, but we'll see. We'll do a bit of a wrap up at the end anyway, and see if I can notice much difference. Now getting back to Jeff, Soupy Socks Corradetti, going back a fair while, I entered one of his competitions to win some motocross boots, and I told him, hey, if I win these, I'll get them wet, get them soupy for you. I think it's only fair that since I won the GoPro 12, that I get my old formers wet and my socks soupy. Now the boots do need a wash anyway. Yeah, we'll take a bit of a walk down here to the Mary River. Yeah, I just want to say I haven't had either of these cameras overheat just yet, and I was doing a fairly long chinwagon talk up there about the cameras. Yeah, no dramas so far, no overheating. Yeah, especially recording at 5.3K 50, which is quite stressful on the old GoPro. Anyway, let's go and get these boots wet, eh? Look at this. Now it's not actually summertime here yet, so I won't be going for a full dip, but I did say I'd get the boots wet, so let's do that. I mean, really, Jeff, come on, who wets their boots on purpose? Ah, yeah, loving life. Still a bit of air in there, I can feel it. Alright, there you go, Jeff. I hope that keeps you happy. I don't think I'm even going to bother taking these off to empty some of the water out. I'll wait till I get home, although it feels like I'm wearing lead boots. Alrighty, so we'll wrap this video up now. It kind of annoys me when people do these comparison videos and then don't sort of give their opinion of the footage, you know, the differences when they finish the video. So, you know, I'll give my opinion for what it's worth. So, you know, would I upgrade if I had the 10 and, you know, I was looking at the 12? Well, probably not, guys. I mean, is there enough there to make it worth the cost? I mean, look, you can sell your second-hand GoPro for a pretty decent price, but I'm just looking at the footage side by side. You know, I would say, yeah, there is definitely a marked improvement, although sometimes the 10 seems to look a little bit better. Most of the time, like in this talking head footage, yeah, I think the 12 looks a little bit clearer. Maybe it's just a slightly better dynamic range, but it's pretty negligible. I think if you weren't looking at them side by side, you wouldn't really notice the difference. Other than that, you know, you've got the new Hyperview super wide field of view. You've got HDR, which in footage I've seen doesn't really make that much difference. You've got this new Bluetooth audio connectivity. Now, I did actually try that. It was a complete fail, so I didn't bother putting it in the video. I don't know what was going on with that. It did pair up to my Fod Sports FX8, but it was, yeah, the audio was just wind noise. You could really not hear what I was saying, so yeah, I don't know, that probably needs a bit of perfecting or something. Possibly I did it wrong, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again and do that in a different video. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope somebody got something out of this. The video is probably a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but it is what it is. For what it's worth, I'm definitely going to be sticking with the Hero 12 until something better comes along. Keep the 10 as a bit of a backup. Oh, looks like we got some thunderstorms rolling in here. Nice, we need the rain. Righto guys, see you on the next one. Cheers. Hmm.